What's the deal, you guys? It is your girl, Fallon Favors. Yes, back again for another episode of the Baby Mama Chronicles. Thank you so much for joining me once again. If this is your first time here, welcome. Come on in, get comfortable, grab a snack. I want to make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I want you to be the first one to see anytime I drop any new content, and it is coming fast, okay? I just want to make sure you stay tapped in and locked in. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Girl, you have got to stop having sex with your baby daddy. Today, okay? Today. So I'm going to go through a couple of the reasons why. This is a topic that I've touched on probably in other videos in some, to some type of small degree or to some small extent. But I think we really need to start paying attention to this, ladies, because as you guys reach out to me, as you guys DM me, as we have conversations about the things that are going on in your baby mama, baby daddy lives, a lot of you still have a lot of emotional attachment to the person that you had a child with, right? And so I just wanted to be clear before we even get into any of the conversation that you have to be very conscious of your behavior. You have to be very conscious of what you're doing, especially considering the fact that a child is involved. It's not just you being a single girl out here having, fun, doing your thing, living your grown woman life, right? It's a little bit different when you talk about bringing a child into the equation and into the situation because, you have eyes on you. So you just want to, make sure that you always have that in the back of your mind, the front of your mind, actually, the front of your mind. So energetic ties, which are very, very real. A lot of us did not receive extended education on sex. You know what I mean? We didn't really have a lot of in-depth conversations and, opportunities for us to ask questions and stuff like that as it pertains to sex. So a lot of us are not even aware of the strong tie and connection that you create with somebody when you have sex. I'm gonna drop in one of these corners my casual sex video where I basically talk about having baseless sex, where it's just literally just the act, you know what I mean? Of course, pleasure centered and, things that, help us relieve our stress or whatever it is your reason, you connect with somebody or your desire to connect with someone. But underneath it all, there's not really a lot of substance to that relationship. And so you're kind of only meeting under the pretenses of, I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me, let's do what we do and keep it moving. Or not, but now you involved emotionally and don't even know how to navigate through that. So that's a whole thing. I'll drop it in one of these corners. When you choose to have a sexual relationship with somebody, you would be crazy to think that you could transmit disease and other things that we're not able to see. Very small microscopic, okay? Parts of our DNA and anatomy that we're not able to see, we can transmit that, but we can't, transmute anything that is, or transmit, anything that is, spiritual or emotional, energetic. Like, we really have to start thinking about that and figuring out how that makes sense. You know what I mean? And the reason why you want to make sure that you are paying attention to the energetic tie is because what it does is once this energetic tie is created, once this bond is created, people sometimes call it soul ties, which I definitely believe is true. It's kind of all of the same thing of what I'm discussing and what I'm talking about now. But it clouds your judgment, ladies, and your ability to make rational decisions, because when and it's so kind of crazy because men and women are so different, right? And the way that God designed us to be is so different. And have you ever wondered, ladies, like why it's so easy for men to have sex with multiple women and, date multiple women and be kind of free and liberated, beyond the fact that we've been kind of under this whole patriarchal rule for, God knows how long, you know what I mean? So I think that there's something to be said about that. But biologically, I also think that there is something in the wiring that allows them to not only physically but emotionally carry on more partners at a more rapid rate than we may be able to do without feeling conflicted in some way. And I think it is because we are the receptors, correct? And as a result of being the receptor, we are really downloading and taking in everything. So not just the physical component of it, but actually the energetic composition of this man that we're sleeping with. You know what I mean? And if this is somebody that you don't know, this is not somebody that you have a bond with, a commitment with, and not to say that that can't be toxic either, but we're talking about just in general. I'm talking about knowing the heart of a person, because you could still be with somebody or have intimate time with somebody and feel like you know them, but the truest parts of who they are, their most vulnerable selves that they really don't let a lot of people see, their insecurities, their fears, and a lot of those kind of very private pieces of ourselves, if you're not sharing that that, then it's kind of the same thing, you know what I mean? But once we have decided to partner with a man in that way, we are susceptible to having our emotions and our heart chakra open up and blossom open in order to receive more, to be more receptive, you know, for whatever that is. And if that means, you know, creating birth, if that means, you know, creating life, if that means, you know, allowing him to impregnate us with an idea so that way we can birth a concept or an idea, or, you know, anything like that, we are on the receiving end. So once our hearts are open, okay, and so now we can kind of fast forward to the actual situation and scenario at hand, which is you and your baby daddy, girl. So if you are partnering with somebody with whom you do know or should know, and you guys are, you know, have this child, and, you know, there's not only just the history of that, that's a whole nother thing, but it's like just man to woman, right? You're having that exchange. And it definitely will cloud your judgment if, one, you're not centered and kind of, you know, convicted with who you are and what your beliefs are, what your stance is with, you know, how you allow people to treat you, what you will and will not tolerate. Your boundaries are firmly set, right? Like if you're not in that position, and in addition to that, if your baby's daddy is not in that position, which most likely he's not going to be if you are, because like attracts like, right? So if you are vibrate on that energy, the person that you attracted would ultimately vibrate on that energy as well. So if he has a lot of those hangups and baggage, maybe just in different places, he's not going to be the healthiest person to connect with on an emotional and intimate level. Somebody that's going to be able to love on you and protect you and, you know, subside your fears opposed to enhance them and aggravate them. But you cannot make it just as simple as, okay, I'm just going to sleep with my baby daddy, or, you know, we love each other, we got a history, we got a baby, we got da 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 da, unless you can handle it. And a lot of women, you know, can't. You know what I'm saying? Because it is very difficult for us to separate our conscious mind and our emotions and, you know, what may make logical sense and all of that. We don't operate in those spaces. You know what I mean? If our heart is connected to a certain situation, we're going to try to carry that all the way out, even if it means it's no good, even if it means us, you know, not being in the situation that we ultimately really want to be in, by understanding what it is that we truly want. And a lot of you want families. A lot of you want to be with your baby daddy, or maybe potentially to even build a family with somebody else, which how are you going to do if you are still having sex with your baby daddy? It's also going to delay the process of you moving on. You know, it's going to take you even longer. My very first Baby Mama Chronicles video, well, not technically the very first, because that started in 2009, FYI, but the first rebrand and reboot of the Baby Mama Chronicles, I talked about that, where I referenced, like, you know, it's going to be very hard for you to get over your baby daddy if you guys are still sleeping with each other and playing house with each other. You know what I'm saying? It conflicts our mind. It ties into the first thing that I said, which is, you know, we are emotional creatures. You know, it's hard for us to separate our emotion from the situation at hand, to say, even to say, this doesn't really make sense, or this is this, right? This is my baby daddy. He cool. We got something over here, but that's that. I can leave it at that. I'm not really tripping. I'm not worried about it. Like, we can, you know, we would be able to do that more easy, but it is a struggle for us to operate that way because we're not operating in our, you know, most honest nature. And you know for a fact that your baby daddy and you are not really on that tip where he's really investing time into building a solid foundation and family with you, right? It could be for all different kind of reasons. Maybe he's still looking to, you know, embark on his career journey or career path. Maybe he is trying to finish school. Maybe he, you know, he might have another family and some other kids. You just don't know. You know, he may, you know, be trying to figure himself out and get himself financially together. Like, you know, it could be all different kinds of things, right? But, or he could just be fucking off, right? He could be an F-boy. Like, that's obviously probable. So if he falls into any of those categories, you know, that doesn't necessarily set you up for the best possible outcome of having the family that you truly desire. So you know that when you go to bed at night, you know that when you're looking in the mirror, you know that even after you have sex with him and you laying in the bed with him, and in that moment it felt so good just because you have him in the house or you have him around, but you know in your back of your mind, a couple weeks ago, he ghosted you. He wasn't answering your phone calls. He, you know, he doesn't feel responsible to answer any questions about what else he is doing as it pertains to who he's dating, who he's seeing. You know, you get kind of tensed up when it comes time to talk about anything that involves commitment or, you know, getting some type of omission of, you know, how he feels about you, what his intentions are, you know, the real stuff, right? But you have to own that responsibility, and you do have to exercise some discipline in cutting that or drawing that line. Cutting the line, drawing the line, you cutting it off. You want to make sure that you are very clear, like, this is what I want. However, the way that I'm going about it is not going to get me there. Which ties me into my last point, which is, it delays your baby daddy actually committing to you. Now, again, this is if you want this. I cannot say in absolute that all women that have kids that are still intimate with their baby daddy want to be with him, want to have a relationship with him, and actually are just, emotionally immersed into whatever the relationship is. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that there are some that are like, girl, literally, it is just literally. I get it. More often than not, though, that's not the case. And I know that based on the feedback that I get in my DMs and all of my messages and everything like that. Speaking of, okay, announcement. We're gonna go ahead and do it right now. So starting today, you guys, September 1st, 2022, I will now be accepting requests for virtual consultations, okay? It has been a long time coming. I have spoken with so many of you, okay, via my comments, Instagram. You guys came over Instagram, child. Y'all came over to Twitter. You guys show me love here, and I love being able to reach back out to you guys and kind of understand where you're coming from, figure out how I can intervene and, give you some encouragement. I don't pretend to know all of the answers. I'm not a certified board specialist or psychologist, although one day I might be, because I'm thinking about going back to school. I just want to be able to connect with you guys a little bit closer. And for all of you guys that really, really need that assistance, go ahead and hit me up. The email is going to be in the description box, and, we're going to get it in. So again, back to the last point, it's going to delay your baby daddy actually committing to you. What I want you ladies to understand is what men say and what they do are two different things, okay? They're not equal. You understand what I'm saying? So if a man is telling you, oh, you my baby mama, like, what this is, you ain't going nowhere, I'm not going nowhere, like, we got our son, like, we got a beautiful family, I love you, you know what I mean, you so, you know what this is, it's just love, da, da, da. And all of those things could be true. I'm not saying that they're not true. I'm not saying that he doesn't really want that for you and your family. What I am saying that he's not going to be inspired to do what's necessary to create that and bring that into fruition if you're not holding up your end of the bargain as a woman first, okay? And as a woman, you have to be fully convicted about what you want. You set the tone. If what you really want is a family, if what you really want is to build something substantial that your child can benefit from, then you need to make that clear and set that boundary line, and you need to be disciplined about it so you are taken seriously. Do you know how crazy you look to say you're not messing with your baby daddy no more, and then a week later, not only to your friends, your family, but to him, how crazy you look? And because he doesn't tell you, you don't think that he's thinking it, but you don't think that he remembers the week or two before when you was talking about you hated him, you were trying to pull up to this house, I don't need that nigga, and blah blah blah, and whatever else you was on, and then 2 weeks later he's in your bed. You look crazy. You look crazy, and no one is going to take you seriously. He's not going to take you seriously. He's going to continue playing the game that you're playing and playing stupid. So it's kind of a checkmate type situation, because, he's giving you the illusion that he's not even aware of how you're moving and what you're doing. So what you need to do is take control of the situation. Right? And again, this is if you do want to have something substantial with your baby daddy, which a lot of you do, make sure your boundary lines are set and you are disciplined and stoic enough to enforce them unapologetically. But you have to do your part as a woman. And men want to be held to certain standards. They want to be held to higher standards. They want to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted by what he's saying, okay? What he's saying is not, don't even, pay that no mind. Pay that no mind. The last thing I'll say is make sure that you understand that your child sees everything. If your child is not able to verbalize it based on them not really having the world experience and understanding of what they may be seeing in front of them, understand that they're still feeling it on an energetic and spiritual level. You guys have got to give more credence to the fact that we are spirits having a human experience. I know you guys have heard that before, and it's true. It's true. And so kids are so perceptive, and kids are really able to pick up on that energy, and kids pay attention to patterns, and kids pay attention to behavior, right? And they're studying you, and they're seeing that dad only comes on certain days. They're seeing that dad doesn't ever stay longer than, 12 hours, then he's out again and he's in and out. That's not healthy for the child. Very confusing, very conflicting. So you not only want to be thinking about yourself selfishly, even if y'all doing it on the low, y'all not doing it in front of the kids. Let's say y'all go get a room or y'all, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that y'all do. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, energetically, kids could still pick up on it, whether they're visually seeing it, whether they, you know, or not, whether they are visually seeing it and, you know, just are not able to understand really how to give sound to what it is that they're experiencing. They're feeling it. Do not take that for granted. Do not take that. You do not want to sit and mix signals to your kids. You want your kids to feel safe. You want your kids to feel secure. And it needs to be one way or the other. Either you guys are going to, you know, try to do something about, you know, building your family and mending those fences, or you're, you know, going to take the responsible road and just, you know, co-parent as healthy as you can. You know what I'm saying? And as open and as honest as you can. Okay, you guys, so real quick video. I just wanted to come in and talk about that because that was definitely on my mind. I know what y'all be doing. I can tell by the DMs and by the comments and all of those different things. You know, you guys are conflicted, but y'all got to stop playing. You know, I'm here to kind of walk y'all through this. I know it's not always easy. I know that, you know, you guys, again, share your stories with me, and I appreciate you being as honest, vulnerable, and transparent and trusting me, you know, to really, you know, give you guys as much as I can from the heart. And again, if you guys are interested in a virtual consultation, okay, all of the details are going to be in the description box below. I want to connect with you guys. I'm super excited to kind of elevate what we already have been doing. Some of my ladies, we've already been doing work. I don't know what all my other ladies doing, being gang. I want to make sure y'all doing y'all work, writing in your journals, writing stuff down. You know, getting in the mirror, trying to figure out who you are, what you want, being honest with yourself, you know what I'm saying, and starting to really give sound to a lot of the emotions that you guys are having and sharing your experiences. So again, love you guys. I will see you next week.